Hey everyone, my name is Martisha Powers. Um, of course, I'm doing this video for our final project. I just thought it'd be fun to do the video. Of course, it's more about our generations, the three generations. My grandmother and my mom, of course, thankfully, are still living. So I had the pleasure of speaking with them on the phone. When I spoke to my grandmother, it was more so of everything was not as in depth as when I spoke to my mom. My grandmother basically was the third oldest child of a total of 12 children. Um, Her father would go out, of course, and get food and bring home. Mom would be at home with the kids, washing clothes, hanging clothes out on the line, things of that nature. My grandma, of course, also did tell me that she was, even though she was the third oldest, she was the oldest girl. So then it was more so about women, are in the home, they are helping, they are, doing chores around the house while the boys would play and all that good stuff. It hasn't really just changed as much, for me, in my opinion now, but they were solely stuck, in the home. One of the things that she did tell me was she did not complete elementary school, so her teacher was basically her parents, my great grandmother and my great grandfather. She would actually, they would, make up different games at home, do those games because her mom actually really needed her help around the house more so than anything. Education to them, I don't think she really wanted to tell me, but my grandma is pretty straightforward. She told me that it was all about, living from day to day. That's what my great grandfather, which was her father, told her. It was more about, don't worry about what's going to happen a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. Don't plan your future. Worry about how we're going to eat today. My grandmother is a 1950s baby, so there was, of course, a lot of issues with race back then. So she grew up in Bentonia, Mississippi. She didn't really just reach out to me as far as telling me the negative type of, I guess, flyways of it. Although there are those out there who really want to, you know, push the facts of what may have happened to them. My grandmother, I'm the same way. You never want to relive some of the bad things in the past. Um, but she does have kind of like a standoffish mentality when it comes to facing different race questions, so to speak. Um, Even with that being said, her helping my grandmother around the house, my grandmother had my mom at the age of 15. Yes, 15. Um, for me, it was like, wait, what? But it was because at 15, for me, honestly, I wasn't even thinking about stuff like that. But for my grandmother, to have, I knew she had her at a young age, but I never necessarily, like with your grandparents, they always tell you, oh, I'm only 25. I know my grandma was, young for to be my grandmother, but she's 62. So, that was kind of like, oh, yeah, well, okay, well, 15, yeah, that's about right. But um, she had my mother at 15. Uh, my mom is the oldest of three kids total that her and my grandfather had together. Um, with my mom, it was more so of a different kind of story. My mom did go on to, of course, elementary school, graduated high school. Um, uh, she also was there to help with her siblings, uh, her brother and her sister. She would help my grandmother with the kids around the house. And one thing that my grandmother did, of course, stress to me, I know that she told me over the phone, she did tell me that my mom basically raised, uh, well, helped raise the kids, which would be her siblings. And that was kind of, cool to know, but kind of weird to know. But it was like, oh, that was sweet. But more so with education, my mom stressed to me that my mom, of course, is a 1960s baby. Um, she stressed to me that, of course, there was still a lot of racism going on. Whereas my grandmother went to school in Mississippi, my mom went to school in Chicago, Illinois. Of course, where a lot of our family is now. And she went to a predominantly black school. So there wasn't any type of, this race is over here, this race is over there, or, this bathroom, that bath. It wasn't like that with her, what she's explaining to me. She did definitely tell me that education for her became very important simply because, my grandmother did not have that. Um, my mom, of course, like I said, went on to graduate high school. She wanted to do nursing. She did actually take the nursing exam. She missed it by like 3 points or so. And she actually found out that she was pregnant. And she was 18 when she had my oldest brother. My mom has 4 children. Her and my dad have 4 kids together. I am yours truly. I am the second oldest of the 4. I'm the oldest girl. I have an older brother. I was more like the one who actually helped my mom with my siblings. My sister, I would help, help them comb their hair, get them to bed, or, help feed them, all of that good stuff. And with that, I am 25. I'll be 26 at the end of this month. I am married. I have, we just had a little boy. He's actually 7 months. So it's like with each generation, as far as, our values more so kind of improved, and what we wanted got better. I graduated high school. I am one class shy of getting my bachelor's degree. So, it's definitely a work in progress. I never personally experienced any racism or any race issues or any, anything that stood out to me as far as gender. Now, the men in my family, and when I look at, schools, to me, it's like guys are prone to actually, you know, do less than what women do, and they may get a little slap on the wrist. Um, I've seen that in like high school, college, where you have these athletes, and the athletes, they're actually, you know, they're made, so to speak, or um they have to, go to class or do work or all that good stuff, but it's like they may get a little less. I don't want to be biased here, but to me, this is just my personal opinion and what I've experienced. I'm not sure what anybody else experienced, but it's just my personal opinion. To me, it seems like they may have gotten treated a little less strenuous than, some of the females or males that are non-athletes in the class. Maybe, some of the teachers may feel like, oh, not all teachers, just some may feel like, oh, well, maybe they're a little tired from games, or, so to speak. But to me, even the cheerleaders, they were, I was a cheerleader in high school. The cheerleaders, they were at every game, just like the athletes, but they, to me, would get looked down upon if they missed something. It was kind of weird, and like I said, it's just my opinion. This may just be my weird observation, but that's just what I observed. um as far as economic class or social class with any of, the generations I spoke about, my grandmother, my mom, and myself, I would honestly say my my family has never just been in the class where we're like, oh, this, we're just going to take, you know the bad route out. We're just going to, look at everything in a negative light, or look at everything like, oh, well, I just would rather be here than here, or I just rather be here than here. In my family, I feel we're all about positive things and what's best for each other. Um, for me, I feel like I'm very in the middle as far as like any class. I've never grown up wanting for anything. I do not remember, any, bad memories growing up. Um, so I feel like when it comes to a lot of stuff in this world, period, it has, from each generation, I think we may have gotten spoiled. Um, I just look at the world today. It's like now, like, you have more parents, and I even have in my family. I see more parents of elementary, excuse me, elementary age children actually do their homework than help them with their homework. You don't want to take that extra, 30 minutes to an hour to sit down and help your child understand. You would rather just get it out the way in 5 or 10 minutes and do it yourself. And I feel like that is just the most horrible thing anybody can actually do for any child. Any child. I feel in today's day and age, my grandmother told me something like really cool that I will never forget, that her mother actually told her, which would be my great grandmother. She told my grandmother that when before my mom was even thought of, she told her that the world is going to get, and is getting, weaker and wiser. Now that is like something to think about, because you look at how a lot of babies like come out, just knowing, okay, this is mommy, this is daddy, or just learning to walk, learning to talk, knowing to hold their bottle, or younger kids are more engaged in electronics, iPads, know how to use your iPhone or iPad better than you do. But you look at all of the killing, the younger kids killing, the guns, the violence, the crazy stuff in the world. It is just terrible. I personally feel, if everybody was to look at the world as, you know their family, like, I'm not in a better class than you. My race is not better than yours. I am not, you know, women are not stronger than men are not stronger than women. If everybody look at the world in a very limelight, in a positive way, I feel everything would be so different. When my grandmother was coming up, of course, she didn't go to school. Education was not a big deal. My mom, you know, it was a deal, but it wasn't as strenuous as now. When I was coming up, my mom made me and my sisters, I may have helped my sisters, but there was no, I'm not doing your homework. Like, that is not my homework. Like, no. Like, no. And um, with my, I have other family members who would actually sit there and help do their, child's homework or whatever. And I feel personally, when it comes down to just looking at each generation, not just within my family, I feel, in my opinion, just from looking around, just from seeing what the world was 20, 30 years ago versus to what the world is today, I feel like it starts with us. This third generation, it starts with us. It starts with us because, like my son, I'm raising him to be a grown up, to be one of the kids that, or one of the men, um, one of the boys that may be in your classroom that may, change the world. I feel like it starts with us, you know. And I'm so glad that I got to do this project. I hope I didn't talk too long, but I am a talker. I'm so glad I got to do this project. But one thing about it, one thing that I actually learned is, for my family, I'm sure it's for, everyone else's, there has been a lot of improvement with education, and I am very thankful for that. I know some families may have grew up completely off the education, but I know my family was not one of those. So I am a first generation college student, which I am very proud of. I have great family behind me, and yeah, so I really appreciate everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video and me summing up pretty much what I have spoke about. So thank you, and see you later. Bye.